So I'm here this evening with Pamela Wilson. Hi, Pamela.
Hello, good to be here.
And we're at Francis's house, and we were just saying that I think the first time, maybe the only time I was ever in Francis's house was to be with you 20 years ago. Pamela's been, I want to say, helping people to realize who they are, and coming to Calgary with that gift for 20 years, and thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
For doing that,
It's like being a midwife. Never a dull moment.
That's right. But one thing's for sure, the baby's coming.
That's right. It's inevitable.
That's right. Ready or not.
Sweet.
So we were talking a little bit about, being a seeker, and for me, the whole idea that something was amiss started in my teens, I think, or even before. That I didn't really fit in, and started reading "I'm okay, you're okay." In the 70s.
Someday I'll be okay.
Yeah. Do you remember that book? It was some stuff out of the 70s and into the 80s, and just looking, and you crossed my path a number of times, or I crossed yours, and then I hear at other events that you've been at. Remember over by the Children's Hospital? Is that where we are this time? Where are we? Do you know? No.
We're in a new place.
New place, are we?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's called?
Nope.
We're gonna
look it up.
We'll tag it. It'll be James will tell us in a bit, but and we'll say it. But we're also going to put it on here because Pamela's here this weekend, and we're going to sit, and there'll be some discussion and some meditation, and I think that people who come to see you are looking for, often for life.
Not even, it's either an impulse, or there's a resonance, or a friend drags them, or there's a really long-standing interest in truth and returning back to what we all know is true. And so it doesn't really matter how you get there. That's what's so cool.
So what happens at your event?
Well, I like to start with sitting in silence, because that allows the bodies and the minds to unwind, and we all have such busy modern lives, so I think it's really important, and people can meditate with their eyes open, or eyes closed, or standing up, lying down. But it's more about giving the body-mind enough space, warm space, for it to find its own way, because it has the same ancient intelligence that we notice in nature and the starry night. So
we've gotten just too busy.
Well, we used to be tribal and communal, and we didn't each one of us do everything ourselves. There would be more division of labor and more support, because we were living in community.
Yes.
So I think really there is a much more pressure now than probably there ever was, except for maybe wartime or in famine. So a little compassion for all of ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
No kidding. So I teach people to meditate.
Nice.
And I've discovered, can I tell you about this? I've discovered that I bring in these amazing little meditation stools. I'll bring one this weekend and show you. And these meditation stools, and then I started interviewing people who would come. I had a store, and hundreds of people, I would say, so how is it with your meditation? And they would say, some would say, oh, fine, and they tell me that they were meditating, but a huge majority would say, meditation doesn't work for me, or my mind's too busy.
Yeah.
But when I pry a little deeper, many of them felt that to meditate, they had to become a devotee. And there didn't seem to be, most of the gatekeepers to meditation, if you will, are associated with a belief.
Good point, yeah.
Or a practice that's outside of the practice just of meditation. And so I've started just teaching, keep it simple meditation.
Beautiful.
You don't have to come to a yoga studio. Not that there's anything wrong with any of that.
Yeah.
I went to India and did my initiation with the Dalai Lama. I've been gone all those roads.
Yes.
And so I've just found that for some people that was a block. They didn't want to be a Zen meditator. They didn't know what the hell that was even.
Well, at this point, we're all modern sages.
Yes.
And we like everything efficient, practical, and effortless, really. And actually, the heart of all traditions, all the final teachings, is that efficient, practical, and effortless. And there's just, each tradition has its different ways of pointing, but it's a great relief, because I think, our generation, we kind of sifted through so much. And now we can confirm for friends, hey, you don't have to do that. Just check this out, look this way, what about that? And everybody's going, oh, right.
Yeah.
It's simple.
And you're right. Remember, there was no internet. and we'd go down to the bookstore in what's that famous bookstore in Oakland?
Well, I'm thinking of City Lights in San Francisco.
Yes.
It's a great beat poet started.
Yes.
And I can't remember the one in Berkeley.
But in looking for books, looking for the answers.
Yogananda.
Yes. Yeah. I read it again about a year and a half ago, and it's changed so much.
The autobiography?
Yes.
Oh, from your view.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, oh my gosh, this is much different.
Yeah, it's an adorable book.
Isn't it? And do you ever listen to books on tapes? You still exploring books?
I love books. I read every night.
Do you?
That's my kind of empty, go vast, and unwind. Yeah. No, I like mysteries.
Oh. So mysteries occupy the mind a bit?
Well, it's not so much that. There is this delight on matching my wits with whodunit.
Oh, okay. So
and I get very smug, and I know who did it. But it's fun. It's the same quest, either for a scientist or for an athlete or for probably in any field. It's always inquiring deep into a mystery, even for cooks with spices and artists. My God.
Of current spiritual writers, who do you recommend?
There's the usual suspects. Like Eckhart Tolle is off the charts. He's fantastic.
Isn't he? I'm back in both his books right now. The New Earth and The Power of Now.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
Actually read The Power of Now online to my audience.
Great.
And reading it out loud was so good for me. Yeah. I don't know if anybody else got anything.
That's right. That's right.
But it was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, it's true. There's something, because also you pause and you're really present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you the Bhagavad Gita? Stephen Mitchell did it.
Mitchell.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I didn't get to that one. No.
Ever?
No. No. My favorite book to read is the Book of Life Inside. And that's what I invite folks to read, just to close your eyes and just get curious, because we're that way in nature, and we're that way, with music or art or engineering. Curiosity is our great strength. But we forget about the inner ecosystem, and all the wisdom is in there, but it's disguised to make it a fun, magical mystery tour. So that to me is like just reacquainting folks with their ecosystem is a delight for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, of course it's there.
Yeah, and all the love is in there, and all the compassion, and all the wisdom, and
Yes.
the body doesn't have to carry history, and the mind doesn't have to review and replay and defend.
I have a fellow I've enjoyed though, Hawkins, David Hawkins. And Hawkins, for my mind, I love that he talked about his levels of and unconditional love at 540. Like he was great because he basically said you can't solve the problems working in the problems. Let's move towards love.
Yeah. Very
nice. And as we lift up through acceptance and to love, then everything kind of drops away, doesn't it?
Yeah, but even the conditioning is made of love. It's devotional and protective, and it just tied itself into knots out of love for the innocence that we are. So I like including that.
Yes.
I think all of us, we have an inner sangha, which is like an inner community. And, there's half good guys, and then there's the villains.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of nice to honor everyone equally, because the great sutra is all there is consciousness, or we could also say all there is love. And yet love under pressure, it takes these weird forms that we're trying to get rid of, but because it's love and consciousness, you can't get rid of it, but you can meet it and help it remember itself. So
that's nice. I like that. So when I'm teaching people to meditate, and I talk to them about their mind, I say that their mind is a marvelous tool, and it's designed to look after them, right?
Yes.
To love them, and so not to be against it, because it's, of course, there's nothing to be against, and so that's kind of what you're saying, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the mind resonates. Actually, the funny thing is, what liberates the mind is respect, whereas the mind is trained that wisdom will liberate it. So it's actually, if we really honor this sparkling, it's like a liquid diamond, intelligent mind, then it relaxes, and then it starts opening.
Feel safe.
That's it. And then if you bow as it starts to sort of stretch into the space around the head, then it keeps going, and then you can say yes, yes, yes. And then sometimes the mind will go, oops, goes back to the known, the little cranium, and you could go, no, no, no.
It's okay.
Spread your wings.
It's okay, yeah.
Because if you look at a baby, brand new little baby, their mind is not contained, or that intelligence.
Yes.
It's just big gazing and big sky mind, really. And then in school we're taught to concentrate and focus, which is a great gift, but then the mind gets kind of stuck because it believes the great promise that wisdom would liberate it and give it value, and
understand it,
respect
knowledge,
it.
Yeah. Which is, it's kind of, it's a trick.
Well, it's a trick, and it's pretty exciting because the mind is infinite, and it could collect information from all galaxies, and it would still be going, cool, more please.
More please.
Because it is infinite, so we have to really honor that. Nobody has ever quelled curiosity or creativity or...
No.
No.
So, do you think that trauma sometimes really nails the mind down in a certain way? It's, keeps it contracted. If we've had there seems to be, there's a lot of talk these days about trauma and about especially around addictions and so if people have been in a extremely terrifying situation.
Yes.
Of course, love will open that up.
Yeah. But it's not someone else's love that will open that up. Right. It's the love.
Yeah, within us.
Because trauma will trust the heart, its own heart, so to speak, the resident sage within. You could have 100 sages really honoring somebody with trauma, and they'll relax halfway. But if they start to honor the trauma and be compassionate with it, then the trauma can go back to also being innocence.
Can expand.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So we have no idea. The reason actually in our culture not to love and honor ourselves is basically so the field does not expand. No, honestly. Yes. Because in past tribal politics, you want your team to stay small and manageable. That's it.
Wow.
And work hard and that's cool. But as soon as somebody bows inside, everything opens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty neat. I like these taboos that are getting broken. Honor thyself.
So the world is changing, isn't it? Do you sense it, that there's an expansion?
Definitely, there's a quickening.
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, there'll be a flare-up of the opposite, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're seeing that.
Right.
But I mean, we've been talking about this since the 60s. Right? But it really is happening.
It is. And we have the soundtrack.
Yes, we do.
Or the silence track.
You do.
In our case.
When Leonard Cohen passed.
I don't think he went anywhere.
No, I'm sure he didn't. But you know what I mean. Yeah. It's like, because he was the soundtrack.
Yeah, beautiful guy.
Yeah. Did you ever meet him?
I missed him. He was a great devotee of Ramesh.
Yes.
So one of my friends was there, and when he was there, I think I went to a few of his concerts. So anyhow, listening to his music, it's a true meeting, of course. Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I like what you just said. That no amount of love outside can heal, or not even the word isn't heal, but allow the trauma to relax.
Yeah, or bring everything home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool how nature designed it, because it's the confirmation that each one of us is the sage.
Yes.
Because we could sit with a great master or, hike in the Himalayas or in your great Rocky Mountains here, and there'll be relaxation and expansion, and the transmission from the mountains and the lakes will really soothe. But then if we add devotion and gratitude inside to that, wow, that's when timeless liberation happens.
So what does devotion look like?
Respect. I mean, you know how we are all adoring trees and rivers and lakes and ocean and whales and everything. To have that natural devotion turn around and include the mystery within, mm-hmm. and include our own unique embodiment, mm-hmm. Ooh, that's when, I don't know, it's pretty exciting.
So you're in the empowering business, in a way.
I'm in the invocation business because it's already there.
Okay.
But I'm just calling it forth.
That's beautiful.
Because, I mean, the main mischief has been for most of us, because when consciousness embodies, it has an affinity for humility, and it has an aversion for arrogance. So it'll just hang with humility and have its aversion to arrogance. So it'll never claim, I am that I am. Mm-hmm. It'll never claim that there's wisdom within or compassion within, or it's gotten some clues that have really helped. Yeah. So it's sweet to honor that essential humility, but to see the sage that's right behind it, that is certain, mm-hmm. rooted, unshakable, and it's right behind the shakeable. So it's great mischief to play.
Nice.
I love it.
I find, you know, I'm doing a lot of these videos, and sometimes I'm just speaking what's happening to the camera and sharing. And I do find there's a resistance that says, you can't do this. You know?
Sweet.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like
But
you said.
that's the natural humility, because it's actually even in consciousness, it's not just human. Because we see it in the animal world. It's an elemental humility, and it likes being seen and not seen. So it's kind of such a gorgeous play. Like, you know, I often see, you know, how the deer comes out of the forest, and maybe half of its face and one ear is in a shaft of sunlight. But the other one is very cautious. The other half, forget it, I'm not going out there till I check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's also built into our DNA. Yeah.
Nice.
It's beautiful.
So when you sit with people, like you sometimes support in private sessions, and because you don't do therapy. This isn't not therapy.
No.
This is.
I'm just calling forth the one heart, the one sage, the wisdom within.
Wow.
And it's so simple, because now, if it wasn't there already, I'd have a really tough job. I'd quit. But since it's already there, it's like a breeze. It's like a breeze. It's just like, look there, check that out, 2 bows, say thank you, and all of a sudden, you know.
Nice.
Yeah. Because as a tribe, we used to be pure devotion and gratitude. We'd start the day saying thank you.
Yes.
For fire and water and food and shelter, and now it's like, gotta go, sorry.
Well, in Bali, we talked about Bali. You know, every establishment does prayers like 4 or 5 times a day with, you know, and offerings. And the whole culture is about gratitude. And I remember asking a young lady who was doing prayers with incense at an altar if she was praying, what was she praying for? She said, well, I'm giving thanks and I'm praying for you.
Aww, that's right.
And so it was really simple and beautiful, you know, and she wasn't being coy at all. It was exactly.
That was her truth.
Yeah, and so their whole culture is, you know, the ceremony is integrated into everything.
Yeah, we used to do that.
Really?
Not anymore.
In like, well, certainly not in North America. You were talking.
Oh yes, we did.
Did we?
Oh yes.
Oh, tell me about that. Where was that?
Well, the original peoples.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even the Europeans originally.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, the kind of the spiritual leaders in community were at one time the only gateway, we thought, to access consciousness, or we were praying for some better deal in life after.
Bartering.
Yeah, we were in negotiation all the time, and this guy was in the middle, and
but that's innocent and very natural, because especially if somebody has spent decades being curious about consciousness or God or devotion or gratitude or music or in any field, there's a lot of noticing that's happened. And then there's a lot, if we're all lucky, there's a lot of shortcuts that have been given from within, so that, you know, each generation simplifies the pointings and the teachings for the next. So, I mean, I've had 8-year-olds come to satsang and just listen, they go, of course. And I'm looking at these like radiant, uncontained beings, and just...
I have a son. I have a couple of sons and a daughter, and they're beautiful, you know, and all on a spiritual path, if you will.
Yeah.
And I guess we all are. But this young fella he's going next week, 2 weeks from now, to Pune again for
Okay.
his third time.
Yes, beautiful.
To be in he spends time in the Osho's ashram, you know, and doing. And he was the guy. He had done the 7-day enlightenment intensive.
Okay.
Tell me who you are, the Koan.
Yeah.
And he was the guy that cornered me to do
It again.
Yes,
That's
he
right.
said, "Dad, I think you need to do this." and I couldn't,
for
you know,
him.
I knew he'd done the 7-day, and there was nowhere for me to go. And when he called me on, a number of years ago, we were sitting somewhere talking, and he said, "I think you should read Eckhart Tolle's book, A New Earth Again." And I said, "Well, how many times have you read it?" Because I had read it, and he said. I've listened to it 3 or 4 times in Audible. He said, but I've read it 3 or 4 times too, so 7.
Sweet.
And he was like 23, you know. So there is a real interest, isn't there,
Yeah.
with the young people? Are they coming to?
Oh yeah, no,
satsangs?
it's so important because it's so lovely how you know the crescendo of materiality and the great promise of materiality is sort of paled a little bit,
Yeah.
you know,
No salvation and known and stuff.
well, it's just so wonderful because as a culture, everyone is already living like kings and queens.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's outrageous. You can flick a switch and you have a symphony or
Everything.
something. I
Yeah.
mean, only kings and queens could live like that. So, and it's beautiful that we had to immerse ourselves and sort of fulfill all the desires, and then all of a sudden there's like, something is still not satisfied. And what I love that word satisfied because it has the Sanskrit sat in it. So this that we are, life itself, left itself clues. So that when we got caught up, that, you know, dissatisfaction would arise, or some restlessness, or the mind being too yak or something. This awareness that we all are noticed, you know, this couldn't be all there is. This doesn't feel like I'm resting in my naturalness, and I remember a certain way of being when I was young.
Yeah.
So there's just gorgeous call from within that's happening everywhere for a full return to naturalness. And now in an informed naturalness, because we tried everything.
Yes.
And did not, what was it? I can't get no satisfaction. What was it?
Let's try sometimes. Yeah, you just might find.
That's right. So how beautiful to look within. That's the last place we would look. And that's such genius because we've, you know, for most modern folks, you've explored the world, you've read the books, it's amazing the bounty that we've been gifted with. And then the last place you would look for the final teachings, for the simplicity, for the heart of hearts.
Yeah, inside.
Yeah, what a surprise.
There is a lot of like people are doing like 10-day vipassanas. There's a lot of places to go now and find, to, you know, to be involved in that search. And, you know, lots of folks are off doing plant medicine.
Yes.
And you know, although that's like a peak experience more than it's there's clues in that, right?
Yeah.
And
it doesn't really matter how we return home,
yes,
but it's inevitable because it's built in. It's consciousness's great pleasure, or life's own pleasure, to get caught up in its own creation and then be slightly less satisfied and then do its full return. So just the way consciousness handles everything, birth, death, galaxies, it also handles the unfoldment. So all of a sudden friends are going here and there and you're going, huh, that's not my resonance, but we're all following our resonance. And that is a deeper intelligence than...
yes, than the mind.
Yeah.
God bless the mind.
Yeah, no, it's very ancient. When it opens, then it's the supreme intelligence. But when it's small, it's like
Yeah.
A walnut.
Let's get the blinders on, for sure. Well, that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to spending the weekend with you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to come and
you.
be there, and I hope that some of our guests
that'd
come
be great.
and spend time with you this
Yeah,
weekend.
and it can be Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't have to be a full commitment. I know as modern sages, we're pretty busy, especially if there's families and
hard to get away for
and there's a Friday night as well.
Yes.
Friday night.
Nice. Great. So we're going to post this. We'll put it on this so people can see. We'll put the event on there and all that kind of stuff. And it's already there. Awesome.
Super.
Where is it?
It's at the Kingsland Community Association.
Oh, so we're at the Kingsland Community Association. That'll
Good.
be fun.
Good.
That's I like that, Kingsland.
That's right. King of Kings is the heart.
Yeah.
And very relaxed, no homework. We love that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love that. No homework.
It's not an intellectual exercise.
No. And since everybody already is this rooted, pure being, it's the great reunion. It is the great celebration when innocent naturalness goes, it's here. It's here.
In each one of us.
Yeah. Well, how sweet.
Thanks for coming and sharing that,
My pleasure.
with so many of us. I think that you've been coming for 20 years.
Yeah, 21. We can't figure it out. We have no memory.
and you brought a lot of, you've helped lots of folks to.
Oh, sweet. It's really tag. It's tag. Tag, you're it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So, love you.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Look forward to spending the evening or the weekend with you.
Yeah.
Thanks, you guys, for watching.
Yeah.
And for Pamela Wilson this weekend, and we're also going to put her website on there, and you can see where you're going to be.
And I have lots of online events. That Sunday morning. Everybody's at home in their pajamas, just relaxing, and we do inquiry. Inquiry is where you look within, and you're just reporting on your felt sense of experience and adding the devotion and the gratitude. So.
Nice. Do you use what platform? Facebook or
Zoom?
Zoom. Oh, Zoom's nice. Yeah. Isn't it great what we can do now?
It is great.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, you guys. Cheers.
Cheers.